Lately, I've been saving up money, and recently I made probably one of the biggest camera purchases I've ever made. Recently, I picked myself up a Fujifilm X-T4, and today I kind of want to go into the reasons as to why I ended up buying a Fujifilm X-T4. So this is not a full review. I mainly just want to explain my decision making along the process as to why I bought this camera, because when it comes to camera buying and stuff like that, I think very, very deeply into this process. I want to make sure that I actually need this camera instead of just want this camera, and I don't ever want to spend a bunch of money on something I'm never going to use. So I want to share with you guys my thoughts, my ideas, because this might help you guys in the decision-making process if you are thinking about buying this camera or any other camera therefore. So I also wanted to clear up some things because about 2 months ago I made a video about why I bought the Fujifilm X100v over the X-T30 and X-T4. And I wanted to avoid any misunderstandings because I made that video 2 months ago in reference to my thoughts when I first bought the X100v, which is about July 2020. So it has been a while since then. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm doing one thing and buying another. A lot has changed within the span of 1 year, and my needs and wants in a camera are completely different. So my love for the X100v is still the same, don't get me wrong, but you'll see in this video why I ended up buying the Fujifilm X-T4. Long story short, or too long didn't watch, is this guy, the Fujifilm X100v, this guy is tired, man. He's tired from carrying this channel on his back, and he needs some help. So enter big brother Fujifilm X-T4 here to help out on this channel. Alright, so the first reason and big reason as to why I recently acquired the Fujifilm X-T4 is for its video capabilities. Now the Fujifilm X100v is great at video. It has done all the videos, pretty much every single video it's played a role in on this channel up until now. And I have honestly no complaints about the Fujifilm X100v's video capabilities, but the Fujifilm X-T4s are better. Yeah, they're just better. The Fujifilm X-T4 is not only able to record in 4K 60, but it's also able to record video in all intra and long GOP codecs, which are very useful for video editing. It's also able to record 10-bit 420 internally, while the X100v is only able to record 8-bit 420 internally, I believe. This is very useful for, retaining things like color depth and stuff like that. So overall, the Fujifilm X-T4 is a better video camera, and I wanted to increase the level and quality of the videos I'm putting out on this channel by buying this camera. If you guys have watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I was a very video-centric creator before I picked up photography and before I started thinking more into the art of photography. And I still have a heavy interest in video. That's why I like making videos like such. And the Fujifilm X-T4 is going to help me create better videos, a lot of videos that I wouldn't be able to create with just the X100v, because I have a lot of visions and interests in creating better and higher quality videos for this channel that I didn't initially have before. In addition to all the improved video capabilities the X-T4 has, the X-T4 also has a flip screen which will allow me to record myself much more easily when I'm out on the field trying to get B-roll of myself and whatnot. Also, it has IBIS, which I would be lying if I said IBIS wasn't a key role in this factor. I've talked about it before, but I shoot a lot of video on the X100v handheld, and I can get a lot of stable footage with that as well, but IBIS makes things a lot more convenient. Now, I still intend on putting out a video on how I get handheld stable footage with the X100v. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten, but in the end, a lot of those things are workarounds. So just having IBIS on the X-T4 makes things easier. Not 100% necessary, because I for one actually enjoy unstable footage. I think it's a lot more natural. I think it fits in well to a lot of the videos I intend on making, but for certain select shots, having stable footage is important, and getting handheld shots without the use of a tripod is very useful when you are on the go. So that's one of the reasons as to why I picked up the X-T4. The next reason why I bought the X-T4 is because it's more of a professional camera setup. While the X100v is a great camera, they get basically the same amount of image quality, they can do a lot of the same things. The X-T4 is more of a camera that you would bring to a professional photo shoot or something along those lines. And now I'm not saying I'm gonna start doing a bunch of professional stuff now. I don't quite consider myself a professional yet, but if someone asked me to do a photo shoot or things like that, the X-T4 would be more of a camera that I would bring, not the X100v. Simply because of its design and style, the X100V looks like a less capable camera, even though it's not. So that is good for certain reasons, but bad for other reasons. The X100V seems more of like an everyday kind of film camera, kind of retro style design, and those are things I love it for, but it has its place in certain situations, right? If I want to be taken seriously like a professional, the X-T4 would be more of the camera I would bring, if that makes any sense. Similarly, the X-T4 is a little more powerful, generally as a hybrid camera. Now, for everyday uses and just the things I was using the X100V for before, it was perfect. I did not need anything else. But the X-T4 has this new little switch, which allows you to switch between stills mode and video mode very seamlessly. Furthermore, it also saves your settings in video mode, so you can, you don't have to change a whole bunch of settings. Before, initially, I wasn't worried about that because I was willing to do those workarounds on the X100V. But if I'm taking into consideration the things I'll be using the X-T4 for, efficiency of use is more important in those scenarios. So because I have this channel now and because I'm trying to put out better content, better video, time efficiency is very important. So the fact that the X-T4 can save my settings when switching between stills mode and movie mode, it's very, very convenient. As opposed to the X100V where I would have to switch my shutter speed and settings every time I switch to movie mode, the X-T4 saves my settings beforehand. So this is a very useful feature that just increases the efficiency of my workflow and my creation speed. The next big reason as to why I bought the Fujifilm X-T4 was for travel. When the world eventually opens up again, I plan to go on more trips and experience more things, and I also want to document and create a lot of videos and pictures about the world and whatnot. So the X-T4 is going to allow me to do that much more seamlessly. Before, I had the X100V and I traveled with it as well, and I was able to get a lot of high quality video and high quality photo doing so, and it never interfered with my process or workflow or anything like that. But what the X-T4 will allow me to do is allow me to get those shots much more easily, especially the shots that I want to get now. Now, one of the reasons why is because I can use a zoom lens. Now, I'm a prime lens kind of guy. I honestly don't prefer zoom lens, but when I'm out in the mountains or I'm hiking or I need a shot that is all the way over there, a prime lens is just, it's gonna make you walk. And a prime lens making you walk is good for certain reasons, but if I'm on a hill and the shot I want is like a mile west that way or something like that, then using a zoom lens would just be much more convenient. It would just be much more easier to get the type of shots I want, especially when, like I said, time is of the essence. The X100V is a great camera, but there are some workarounds. And before I was willing to work through those, but depending on the situation, I am unable to. And so the X-T4 is gonna make these things a lot more easier for me. Another thing I wanted to mention about travel that I didn't take into account was that I would be going to a lot more colder places. And for this reason, the X-T4 is actually very useful because it's a bigger body than the X100V. And I've praised the X100V's size before because it's kind of the perfect size for everyday use. But if I'm going somewhere very cold, like I did about a week and a half ago, I'm not gonna spoil the place because I have a video coming out on that stuff and I want to, save it for that. But if I'm going to a colder place where I have to use gloves and my hands are freezing, having a bigger camera body is much more useful because you can change settings much more easily. The X100V, it was very hard for me to change settings with gloves on because it wasn't intended for that kind of purpose. It's not meant to be brought out in those situations. So that is another benefit of having this camera, which is slightly bigger. Another big reason as to why I bought the X-T4, and as you can see, there are a lot of reasons as to why I bought this. I go deep into why I want a camera and if I actually need a camera, and it's not until I'm fully sure that I need a camera that I actually decide to buy it. So a big reason as to why I bought the X-T4 was to be able to use various lenses on the X-Trans4 sensor. I currently own a Fujifilm X Pro 1 and I've been able to try a lot of different lenses on that camera. But the X-T4, it has a different sensor, and I have no complaints about the X-Trans1 sensor, but I do like the X-Trans4 sensor a lot. That's what I've been shooting with the X100V, and I wanted to try different focal lengths and different lenses on this sensor and see what kind of images I could get. So this was a big factor as to why I bought the X-T4 as well. Alright, the final big reason as to why I decided to pick up the X-T4 is because of the vision I have for this channel. There's a lot of different videos and photos that I want to make and create that I wouldn't be able to do with just the X100v. And this isn't anything crazy or anything super dramatic or anything like that. Literally something as easy as taking a shot or recording a video of me using the X100v is only possible if I have a second camera body, if that makes any sense. Because while I could use the X100v to record video, I can't use the X100v to record video and take photos at the same time. So even just a simple shot as just recording myself taking a picture, I can now do with the X-T4. And that gives me a lot more flexibility. Also, there are a lot of different types of styles and videos that I want to make, for example, with like a 50mm or even a wider 16mm, those type of shots for video that I want to add to my videos now that I didn't before. So when I first decided to pick up the X100v, I didn't have any interest in that stuff because I didn't need to, because this YouTube channel wasn't even a thing back then, it wasn't even a concept back then, and I could not have even imagined this YouTube channel growing to where it's at now. So I'm very grateful for the support, thank you guys, of course, and I want to be able to bring you guys higher quality stuff, higher quality video, higher quality photos, and so that played a very, very big role as to why I picked up this camera. It's, yeah, literally for the sake of that. So before I said the Fujifilm X-T4 was too expensive, and I kind of stand by that. I was able to pick up the X-T4 at a pretty good price used, and I would not have done so before even if I got a good price on it before. The reason was, like I said before, I didn't have this channel. So now that I have this channel, I'm invested in it, I like it, I want to produce more videos, I want to make more videos, so this camera now serves as an investment as well. Before, when photography and videography wasn't as big of a staple in my life, I didn't need to. But now it serves as an investment for this channel and an investment for my skill and dive that I want to go, if that makes sense. Alright, so essentially those were the main reasons as to why I decided to buy the Fujifilm X-T4. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you guys for watching. Honestly, there was a lot to navigate through, I'm sure. But I wanted to provide you guys the reasoning or the decision making that I had for buying this camera. I don't want you guys thinking I bought this camera on a whim, because it was not that. I've been thinking about it for a long time and I've been saving up money so I could purchase this camera. And I think so far I'm enjoying it. I think so far it's looking like it's going to be a well worth investment. So if you're thinking about buying this camera or any other Fujifilm camera, hopefully this helped you along the decision process making. Buying cameras is not easy, it's very subjective towards your wants and needs. So I can only offer a little bit of advice from my perspective. I gotta make sure I actually really need it, if it will benefit my photography and videography, and if it will serve to improve, you know, my skill and stuff like that. So yeah, just some thoughts. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you have not yet, please do like and subscribe to this channel for more content and videos and whatnot. And I hope to see you guys in the future. Peace.